Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me in Conference Room A here at the Municipal Center. And joining me is Donna Gerard, and she is the town clerk for the town of Grafton. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Nice of you to come back,
Thank you.
because I sometimes get worried that I scare people off.
No, no, you didn't.
So we're here today to talk about the upcoming election, and you had some information you wanted to share with the townsfolk about voter registration and everything they need to know.
I do.
Okay.
My office is preparing for the presidential primary on March 1st. And I thought that if maybe I came here with you, I could discuss a few things that sometimes causes confusion to voters on a primary election day.
Okay.
And when you go to vote in a primary election, you must request a specific ballot. One of the four political parties that are parties in Massachusetts today, and they are the Democrat, the Republican, the Green Rainbow, and the United Independent Party. Those four ballots, if you're enrolled in one of those parties, you can only vote that ballot.
Okay.
If you are unenrolled, which is what used to be called independent, and that's not to be confused with the United Independent Party.
Okay.
So if you are unenrolled, or if you're enrolled in any of the 12 political designations in the state of Massachusetts, you can choose a ballot. When you check in at the polls, you will request a certain ballot, or the poll worker will ask you, which ballot would you like? And if you're unenrolled, you get to pick whichever ballot you would like to vote.
Okay, so let me take you through some steps.
Yes.
So, I'm a registered voter in the town of Grafton, and in the last election, I voted as a Democrat.
Yes.
Now, I need to do anything now.
If you want to vote Democrat in the primary, no.
Okay, same would be true as if in the last election I voted as a Republican. Do nothing now.
That's correct.
Okay, now if I voted as a Democrat and I want to change, I have to do something.
You do. There is a deadline, there is a deadline of February 10th for changing and registering to vote for the primary.
To get all that done.
To get all that done, and you must do that before that date.
Okay, so now we all know people who say, I'm an independent.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm an independent, if I understand it correctly, and I voted as a Republican last election, I show up on the poll, on the roll as a Republican?
No, you do not.
Okay,
If you are unenrolled and you go to the polls and you opt to vote a specific ballot, be it Democrat, Republican, Green Rainbow, or United Independent Party, after you vote, you automatically go right back to that unenrolled status.
okay.
So that you can vote next time without making any changes. You can vote any ballot you want in a primary.
Okay, so I interrupted you, so I'll let you continue. Go
No,
ahead.
that's fine. If you vote in the presidential or any other election that is not a primary, you don't have to worry about your status. You can vote, anybody that is a registered voter can vote in a regular election. But if you're it's only in a primary that you have that issue where you need to choose a ballot.
Okay,
So, there are 24 political designations in the state of Massachusetts, and those political designations have not qualified for a full party status because they have to get so many votes in an election in order to become a full party,
to be recognized.
to be recognized as a full party, and they have not. Where Green Rainbow and the United Independent Party have done that in the past, and that's why they now have the full party status.
Okay, understood.
I just think that if anybody has any issues or questions about their status as a voter, whether it be their party or whether they're registered or not, they need to call the town clerk's office and get that straightened out before the deadline to register to vote, which is February 10th.
Okay. So if I moved into town today, let's say, and I failed to register in the town of Grafton to vote by February 10th, I would have to go back to my previous town or my previous city and vote there, or vote by absentee ballot, I guess?
You could vote by absentee. You can also go back and register and vote in your previous town if you are still listed on their voter rolls.
Okay.
If you have notified them that you have moved and they no longer carry you on the voter rolls, then you can't do that.
Is that standard procedure where if I notify my town that I've moved out and I live somewhere else, do they automatically take you off the rolls, or
If you tell them I no longer live in that town, yes, they'll take you off.
good chance they did that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But if you did register to vote in Grafton, upon registering in Grafton, it automatically takes you off of the other town.
Okay. So there's some type of information sharing or a notice that
Yes,
goes out?
yes. There's a state system
Sure.
that we all share.
Okay. So, looking at the document that you shared with me before we came on the air, I was really shocked to see that there were so many different parties.
Yes, there are.
And it's up to you to
But they're
keep
not
track of
parties.
them.
Those are the political designations.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So there's all these different designations, and some of them are recognizable, and some of them actually make sense, and then there's just a bunch that look like somebody's messing with
Yes,
you.
yes. And I think they are. It's just people that think, hey, let's form a political designation.
Right, right. So, so some of the ones that almost anybody would recognize if they were looking at this list.
Yeah.
So if somebody said to you that I'm a member of the Conservative Party, well, most people would look at you and go, well, you're a Republican.
Yes.
But then again, there's some others here that you're a member of the Reform Party. Well, in some countries, the Reform Party would be considered the left side of the political
Yes,
spectrum.
yes.
And then, of course, there's my favorites. There's the I don't even know if I
Yes.
can say it.
You mean the Pirate Party?
The Pirate Party. So I recently joined the Pirate Party,
Uh-huh.
and so has anybody ever come to the town of Grafton and said they were a member of the Pirate Party?
No, not yet.
Okay.
And you'll also see the Pizza Party.
Well, the Pizza Party I can
Party,
understand
yeah.
fully. I have no issues with that whatsoever. The Pirate
Yeah.
Party I did have a concern about.
But these are legitimate political designations that people have joined, and they can,
Right.
when they go to the polls, opt to take any one of those 4 ballots,
Okay.
which is new.
Sure.
Last year, they could not do that.
They couldn't do that.
But
So
we had an election reform, and that happened
and
during
that
the
was
election.
one of the
Yes,
changes that was
yes.
instituted. So a year ago, if Rick and I decided we were going to form, Rick's in the booth.
Yeah.
So if Rick and I decided we were going to form the Bald-Headed Grandfathers
Mm-hmm.
Party, and we came to you and said we wanted to be listed, a year ago, that wouldn't have happened.
That's right.
Okay. But now, and here's the good news, Rick, we could do that.
Well, you'd have to go through the state.
Sure,
but
we'd have
yes,
to go through
yes,
that process.
Yes.
Okay. So, that's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
It's like some of the names, America First Party, okay, makes sense. Socialist Party, makes sense. I'm surprised to see the Prohibition Party on here.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting. So there are people out there that are still trying to ban the demon rum.
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting. Libertarian Party makes sense. Green Party makes sense. Rainbow Coalition, heard of all those. Fascinating.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yes.
No idea. Because people talk about the two-party system.
We
And,
no longer have a
and
two-party
it's really
system.
not,
Right.
well, mechanically speaking, it probably still is.
Yes,
But
yeah.
theoretically speaking, there are other ways
There
to,
are.
to identify yourself.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you get really busy leading up to the primary and into election season?
Yes, we
And
do.
people come and flood the office at the last minute
Oh, yes, and after also,
And-
and they're very disappointed when they find out.
because they realize I
Yes.
missed it. Right.
Right.
So, is there a process that people should be aware of? The why should I vote absentee, or when should I vote absentee, or how do I vote absentee? Is that something we should talk about?
Actually, absentee voting in the state of Massachusetts is only allowed under certain conditions.
And what would those be?
One is if you're going to be out of town on election day
Mhm.
and you are unable to get to the polls.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a physical handicap that prevents you from coming to the polls.
Okay.
Or if because of some religious belief you cannot come to the polls.
Like it falls on a religious holiday
Right,
for the religion
right,
you observe.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
So let's go to the first category. I'm out of town. So what counts as I'm out of town? Traveling on business?
Anything.
Anything,
If you're
okay.
on vacation, if you're just, in Westboro for the day and just can't get here between the hours of 7 and 8, then that
Okay.
qualifies too.
Okay. So even if it's just that close, I'm involved in a project, I can't leave
Yes.
it. It's a technical thing, and somebody has to keep an eye on it, and so that would qualify.
Right.
And then what do we do for troops deployed overseas?
We have what we call UOCAVA ballots. It's uniformed overseas, and people that that have resided in Grafton but have permanently residing in another country.
Mm-hmm,
We have some that live in England, we have some that live in Canada.
sure.
And we get to send them ballots too.
Right. So if somebody who's a resident of Grafton is residing in, let's say, Tokyo, Japan, and they're assigned to the military, and they've been there for long term,
Yep.
they could vote absentee ballot.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, if I'm a member of Massachusetts Army National Guard and I'm deployed,
Yep.
does the military assist me, the voter, or does that responsibility fall on me to search out and do the homework on how I can possibly vote?
I believe it's the individual voter that has to.
So in
find
that
out.
instance,
Yes,
I would have to do the
yes.
homework, and I would
Yeah.
have to make sure that my voice is heard. Okay.
But of course, with the help of the Secretary of State's office and the help of our office, we
Mm-hmm.
would assist them any way we could.
Right, and I think it's probably a little easier for deployed troops because, I mean, let's face it, they probably have their smart device or their
Right.
laptop with them, and they can log into these agencies and they can get the information they need.
And we can now email their ballots to them.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep, if you're out of the country for some reason, yes, we can email the ballots to them.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep it all straight.
We get really busy during election season, and
Yeah.
we've got 4 elections this year, so that's
Yeah.
going to be a challenge for us, but we'll get it done.
Wow, God
Yeah,
bless you.
yeah.
So did we cover everything, or is there anything
I
else
think
you
so.
need to
I just
bring up?
wanted to remind people that precincts 1, 2, and 3 vote at the middle school
Mhm.
on Providence Road, and precincts 4 and 5 vote at the Millbury Street Elementary School.
Mhm.
And the hours of the polls for the presidential primary on March 1st will be 7 in the morning till 8 at night.
Okay.
And
And if I forget where my precinct is, how do I find it?
you can either, right here,
The
The QR
QR
code?
code, yep.
you can use that, or you can log on to the Secretary of State's website
And
and,
get it from there.
yep, or you can just call our office. We'll be more than happy to tell
Okay.
them what what their party status is.
You know, the funny thing is no matter how many times I vote, I still go and look at the list to make sure I'm in
Yeah.
the right place.
Yeah, well, sometimes they change, not often,
Yeah.
but sometimes.
Yeah, but it's probably a good idea just to double
It
check.
is, yes, yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to remind people about the special town meeting on February 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And the last day to register to vote for that is on January 28th. Our office will be open till 8 p.m. for that.
Okay. So, lots of information.
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think we covered it.
We are done.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.